explain JAMPRO and what we do. JAMPRO, which is Jamaica Promotions Corporation, is the agency of the government of Jamaica that handles trade and investment. We have offices in regional hubs like Canada, the New York, and London. So today we are focusing on one of the priority sectors in Jamaica, which provides digital services not just to Jamaican companies, but globally. And we have a few of our panelists here with us. Let me just, um, if you mind going to that screen, we will be having Conrad Robinson, Peter Ryan, Wayne Sinclair, and Jake Becker bring us their own perspectives on the industry and how it has been growing and developing in Jamaica. Before we launch into some of this engaging discussion, I want to first have some, housekeeping rules as you would. Please write your comments in the chat. We do not have the video or mic enabled, so if you want to ask a question, we have our colleagues who will be responding, and also a Q&A session coming up in the forum that we'll be able to speak to those questions that you present. Next screen. Conrad Robinson, my colleague from JAMPRO, is the manager of the Global Digital Services division of the organization. And he has a wealth of information in digital outsourcing. Conrad will also explain to you that we consider it upscaling. Won't go deep into Conrad's message, but that he has been with the organization for some time and so possesses quite a wealth of information on not just Jamaica, but how North America sees Jamaica as a strategic hub for their operations. Conrad.
Thank you, Margaret. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar this morning. As was explained, my name is Conrad Robinson. I'm manager at JAMPRO with responsibility for global digital services. And I'm going to take you through why you should make Jamaica your preferred partner for outsourcing your business. Allow me to share my screen with you to be able to do a slide presentation. And I'm hoping everyone is seeing my screen as we speak. You should be seeing a slide which indicates Jamaica is the leading outsourcing destination in the Caribbean. So why us? Jamaica is the third largest English-speaking country in the Americas. We have a population of roughly 2.7 million people and a labor force of about 1.47 million. Our literacy rate up to 2024 was clocked at 88%. And of course, our major economic sectors are tourism, agriculture, financial services, ICT, and manufacturing. The nearshore priorities, as was recently discussed in an event held in Ottawa, centers around compliance and, of course, resilience. And we believe that Jamaica is suitably positioned to be able to answer those questions that outsourcing companies, primarily in North America, is asking around certain crucial criteria, of course, without the classic operational and far-shore friction. Linguistic clarity. Robust English-speaking proficiency allows natural, high-empathy dialogue that completely eliminates customer friction and elevates your brand perception. Global security. Adherence to top international standards through comprehensive compliance structures designed directly into Jamaica's enterprise ecosystem. We have a pro-business framework here in Jamaica. We have a state or GOJ sponsored, government of Jamaica, sponsored operational support from companies like JAMPRO, which I represent. stable legal security, and ease of operation pathways tailored to protect nearshore investments. Why Jamaica? From a business competitive perspective, we are strategically located and accessibility to North American market, strong affiliation with the American culture. From an economic competitive perspective, we have strong government support, including tax and duty exemptions and investments in technology parks. We have a strong and reliable digital infrastructure and acceleration of this digital transformation. We're in terms of the ease of doing business with Jamaica, we are digitized most of our processes, reformed, streamlined frameworks and processes that are both business and investor friendly. We have an educated workforce that is based on STEM and, of course, native English speaking talent pool. How does this now translate to your benefit as prospective investors in the outsourcing of your business to Jamaica? So there's seamless synergy and familiarity. That strong cultural and historical and economic bonds allow a local service representative to easily engage with consumers across Canada and the USA. The native English speaking accent is intuitive, facilitate intuitive communication that supports smooth, complex interaction. We have large diaspora ties, millions of connections in major metropolitan centers like Toronto, New York, and Miami. And of course, that deep Western affinity allows intimate knowledge of North American idioms, culture, and business expectation, allowing our representatives here in Jamaica to seamlessly engage with your clients in North America. So to do this, we have designed our strategy around three major pillars within the outsourcing space. Business process outsourcing, which many of you are familiar with. And of course, it involves companies contracting external service providers to manage specific business functions. And we currently offer a comprehensive range of business services, including customer service and telemarketing, back office support for finance and accounting, HR, and insurance, technical support, debt collection, survey polling, data entry and analytics, marketing and banking support, as well as market research, graphic design, payables, catering to a wide range of sectors such as banking, insurance, health and telecommunication, retail, and logistics. But we are also moving up the value chain within our outsourcing space here in Jamaica. And so we are focusing on knowledge process outsourcing. With a strong and steady expanding base of professional graduates in law, medical science, computer science, and engineering, we are perfectly positioned to accelerate growth in knowledge process outsourcing, shared services. Jamaica pool of highly skilled university graduates in finance and accounting, HR, marketing, and related disciplines form a solid foundation for building high-performing shared services centers, already delivering physician and patient information services, payroll processing and financial accounting services, content development, asset management. We have the specialized capabilities and scale needed to support complex global operations and drive sustained value. And we continue to move up the value chain into information technology outsourcing. And this is a growing output of graduates from computing, informatics, and engineering programs, complement the various public-private partners initiative to advance Jamaica as a knowledge society, through which the promotion of software coding and development. Jamaica has a proven track record in IT innovation, with Jamaican students emerging as winners of the various global IT competitions. For example, first place, Global Hackathon at the United Nations World Summit on Information Technology, March 2018. And second place, International Software Competition, hosted by the Institute of Engineering and Electronics, April 2018. We are currently providing services such as software development and testing, front and back end development, network management, business intelligence, and data science, penetration testing, etc., etc. And how do we deliver all of these services? Through our well-abled, talented labor pool, an educated, native English speaking, and cost competitive workforce. We have 8 universities and over 120 colleges across Jamaica. We have over 86,000 persons enrolled in tertiary institutions across Jamaica. And of course, from a skill set perspective, we have our graduates ranking number 1 in the Caribbean, and Jamaica has the largest pool of ACCAs, accredited members and affiliates in the Caribbean, according to OCO Global 2014.
Conrad, if you were to wrap up in 1 minute, what are some of the primary
I'll be
things you
wrapping up in 1 minute. So
have?
I just want to emphasize the fact that our labor pool is really strong and it is a demographic of under 35. We have complex interaction fit and intimate hospitality knowledge. Of course, we're talking about our telecoms infrastructure, robust and well suited for outsourcing industry. And of course, our modern infrastructure gives us redundant networks foundation, low latency connectivity, flexible staffing, etc. We are a nearshore destination, zero Eastern time zone difference. And of course, just to bring this home, I want to make this point. By seamlessly merging cultural affinity, time zone proximity, reliable infrastructure, and elite service talent, Jamaica stands out as the ultimate strategic partner for North American enterprises. Thank you very much, and I hand back to you now, Margaret.
Thank you so much for that, Conrad. And, I think you did a fantastic job just identify how competitive we are as a destination that provides technology-enabled services and the quality of our talent pool as well. So thank you for it. I'm going to move quickly over to Ryan. And before you start, Peter Ryan, um, he heads up the Ryan Advisory and is recognized as one of the world's leading experts in customer experience and business process outsourcing. Throughout his career, Peter has advised CX outsourcers, contact center clients, national governments, and industry associations on strategic matters like vertical market penetration, service delivery, best practices in technology deployment, and offshore positioning. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you very much, Margaret. You make me sound very intelligent and distinguished. So I think we need to have these conversations more often. I feel better about myself. Listen, I'm truly honored to be participating in this discussion that is very much not just a chance to catch up with prospective investors as well as stakeholders already on the ground, but this is truly a discussion amongst friends. I've been associated with the GSAJ and JAMPRO for well over a decade and a half, and it's because I truly believe in Jamaica as a location that's very well placed for managing business services and technology enabled services for the North American market. Quite recently, I was down in Jamaica, and it never fails to amaze me the extent to which the country is just moving forward every single time I visit when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to education, when it comes to the companies that are invested there. And I'm excited that Jake's on the line today, and he's going to have the chance to talk a little bit about the evolution of TP, one of the leading BPO investment that's happened in the country over the course of the past 20 years. But I'm just going to take a few minutes today to talk to you and to talk to the assembled guests from around the world that are joining a little bit about why I think Jamaica truly is a compelling opportunity for businesses, both outsourcers and their clients in the United States, in Canada. When we think a little bit about Jamaica, accessibility comes to mind. And when it comes down to it, we know for a fact that busy executives on the BPO side, on the vendor side, as well as the client side, just don't have the wherewithal or the energy, or quite frankly, the resources these days to spend 24 hours, 36 hours going from their home base to an offshore destination that might be located halfway around the world. We've all been there. We understand what travel's like nowadays. It's not glamorous, it's not fun, it's nowhere near what it used to be. And when you factor in that Jamaica from North America is at most going to be a 4.5 hour flight into Kingston or into Montego Bay, that's a very, very important consideration that a lot of North American buyers as well as providers are thinking about. But Conrad touched on something a little while ago that I want to just put my own finger on right now that I think is very important. That is that Jamaica truly is open for business. It's one of the most important aspects of the value proposition that Jamaica brings to the table. And I can say personally, having been in Jamaica many times, having met with individuals both from the investment promotion agency as well as from the government, the legislative bodies themselves, including the Prime Minister. There's not just an attitude about wanting to attract investment, but to the highest levels of government, individuals understand the BPO space, they understand the technology space, they can speak our language. And that's so important when it comes down to understanding the needs of the sector. Very few locations you actually get this anymore. And I want to talk a little bit as well on that point as maybe a parallel about alignment. The reality is that business people in Jamaica, the individuals that you'd be recruiting as managers, as executive team leaders, these are folks that understand exactly the North American business culture. Conrad very rightly talked about the alignment in terms of popular culture and understanding that Jamaicans have with the US and Canada. But there's also that commercial culture that they're very much aligned to as well. We have to keep in mind the fact that this is not the case in so many different destinations where you might be at cross purposes with a delivery point, or you might be at cross purposes with individuals managing the delivery point who just don't understand how Canadian or American business people think or what the expectations are. That's not the case in Jamaica, and I think that speaks volumes to the extent Jamaica has been able to grow over the years and continues to grow when it comes to attracting North American business investment. And there's another point. Maybe I'll finish off on this, and that's the reputation Jamaica has garnered. Look, at the end of the day, Jamaica has not been able to build up its outsourcing space, whether it's business services or technology, just by accident. It's because of the fact that quality is one of the key drivers, if not the most important driver, when it comes right down to what buyers expect from Jamaica and what is being delivered by their outsourcing partners. And when we think a little bit about the fact that Jamaica is, as Conrad mentioned, roughly 3 million people, it's not got the same volume of talent that you find in some of the offshore destinations. But what it does bring to the table is that inflection point of affordability and quality, which is value. And that value is driving the reputation of the country. And it's also the fact why consistently when we conduct research around buyer favorability. So the favorability of enterprises working with different outsourcers in different parts of the world. Jamaica tends to rank very, very well. In fact, we've just completed a study and it's going to be released next week. And what it shows is that in Canada and the US especially, Jamaica's level of favorability is exceptionally strong. So, Margaret, with that in mind, I'm going to pass it back to yourself, but certainly delighted to answer any questions that might pop up over the course of the discussion as we continue this very exciting webinar today.
Thank you so much, Peter. I think you can't underscore enough the importance of synergy and alignment. I mean, when you're looking to scale your operations, that's one less thing that you have to worry about in terms of the quality of the service that you're getting. So I like the fact that you touched on that. You also explained a bit about the industry trends and how Jamaica is being looked at from players across North America.
Yeah.
Could you delve a little bit more into that?
Oh, I'd be happy to. And just as a bit of a case study, Conrad referenced the fact that last week we held an event called CX Outsourcers in Canada. And Margaret, I know that you popped in for part of it. Look, we had a lot of different outsourcers from around the world. And one of the things that I couldn't get over was the extent to which So many were excited to find more out about Jamaica. So many of them were clamoring to get the chance to talk to Conrad so that they could find out more around what Jamaica could offer them. Whether they were American outsourcers or Canadian outsourcers, there was definitely a level of excitement and enthusiasm around Jamaica, given the fact that it is open for business, given the fact that it's so accessible. But I think there's another point too that we should bring up, and I think that this is very important. Conrad touched on the fact that Jamaica is a destination that is compliant. Compliance is so important now. The ability for an outsourcer and their clients to find a location that's going to be aligned with the industry standards around data protection, information security. This should not be underestimated because this is a major point that Jamaica brings to the table. Equally speaking, political and economic stability, we are finding in our research, is showing that this is very much a driver in any new offshore or nearshore destinations. And having been to Jamaica and having seen the fact that the political situation is exceptionally stable compared to so many places around the world where just quite frankly we know it's not, and that the economic situation is again very much being managed in a straightforward and competent fashion. This counts for so much for the buyers and their outsourcing partners, whether they're in Canada or the United States.
Thank you so much, Peter. Whenever we meet up with Peter, we learn so much, right, Conrad, about, what's going on. And it's really an honor to have you on with us today.
Well, the
Um,
honor is mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we move on, though, it's a good opportunity to share with you guys a poll that we have and ask for your participation in responding to some of these questions. It does help us to bring more webinars like this to you, but also to see how we can best, um, you know, respond to you to serve you as you look at Jamaica for opportunities. So we would like if each and every one just take a bit of I guess 2 minutes. I think we can spare 2 minutes to go through the questions here and select your responses. Some of the questions do allow for multiple choice, so go ahead and I will give you 2 minutes to just go through the questions and respond based on your interest and investment appetite. Okay, so you see how easy peasy that was. Would your organization consider nearshoring or outsourcing digital service operations in Jamaica? What best describes your organization's current interest in Jamaica? Which area of Jamaica's global digital services ecosystem is most relevant to your organization? And what type of partnership model would interest your organization most? And our final question was, would you be interested in participating in a Jamaica business matchmaking session or investment missions, which we do have ongoing missions to Jamaica throughout the year? Thank you so much for your participation in that poll. We're moving into another engaging segment of this webinar. We'll have a discussion with Jake Sinclair and Wayne Sinclair. But it's actually Jake Becker. I think I created a brotherhood there. They've known each other for some time
It's
now.
going on for a while, so we in Becker is fine.
Wait, okay, we'll keep it at that. But before I start off with you guys, let me just give you a bit about these two individuals. Wayne is the president of the Jamaica Services Association, or the Global Services Association of Jamaica. In addition to his role as president of the JSAJ, Wayne has over a decade of executive experience in the industry. One of his roles was as the managing director of the National Credit Adjusters, a servicer of distressed receivables based in Hutchinson, Kansas. And we have Jake Becker, who is the country manager for Teleperformance Jamaica, one of the country's leading global business services and customer experience providers. Jake brings extensive leadership experience in managing large-scale operations and supporting international clients through Jamaica's dynamic and growing global digital services sector. Before we get into the question, is there anything you'd like to add to that, Wayne?
Well, I think you've summed it up pretty well, and thank you, Margaret, for having us. And Conrad, thank you. Great presentation there. Peter, great to see you again. You've been a tremendous ambassador to the industry, so appreciate that. But I'll add, yeah, I mean, the Global Services Association of Jamaica is essentially the industry's advocacy group. We are the bridge between the industry and the public sector and other stakeholders for the industry. We serve the industry's interests, and I just want to give two anecdotal references. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, for example, when other geographies were, enacting sort of draconian measures necessary, we really jumped into the space and acted on behalf of the industry to ensure that we continue to operate seamlessly. So things like curfews and other things that would have affected other industries and this industry in other countries. We were able to interface with the government, who was very responsive, that allowed us to keep our doors open and to keep our operations going pretty much in the same way that it had even prior to COVID. And even more recently, with the passage of Hurricane Melissa, which was by all accounts one of the most powerful destructive forces in this hemisphere, and certainly in Jamaica, we were able to work again with the government and our stakeholders in telecommunications to have us up and going as quickly as possible. My other hat, I'm still the managing director of National Credit Adjusters. The hurricane happened on Tuesday, and by the following Monday, half our staff were back in office working. And because of the relationships that we have, both as an industry and as individual companies, we were able to get up and going very quickly. So that speaks to the resilience of us as a sector, and our staff as well. So just wanted to sort of impart that as part of the two hats that I'm wearing for today's conversation.
Thank you so much, Wayne. Jake?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Teleperformance. Yep.
Yeah, sure. No problem. So globally, I mean, Teleperformance, it's a large BPO. We have over 400,000 employees. I'm just super fortunate to be a part of the organization dedicated to developing team members. And the SEZ, Special Economic Zone, they gave us the first BPO recognition, which I thought was pretty cool. We were recognized and given an award for human capital development. And it really does show our tenure is really high, considering the industry. Agents, 3.5 years, and leadership, 11.2 years. And it's not because we're not growing. I mean, we are definitely growing. We have successfully been recognized in that one as well with the GSAJ. We were given an award for the largest BPO employer in the western region of Jamaica. So my role as the VP or country manager is just continuing to grow. I've been doing this. I've been living here in the past 22 years in Montego Bay, and I focus really my attention on the priority of the team member, what's right for the client, and then what's right for the company. And with the backing of the global team, they have a TP's global team, ton of confidence in Jamaica. They've seen our past success, and they're going to continually actively invest in our future. So just nice to be on the panel and be able to say these things.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Jake. Let me just tag on to that. What would you say Teleperformance, given that you operate across multiple international markets, what's the strategic advantage that you think Jamaica offers as an operational location? And, if you could explain, how do you see the market evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
Sure. So I want to just give a little history because the reason why TP was so interested in Jamaica, Jamaica launched Alliance One back in 1998. And Alliance One is a well-known company out of the US, Canada, and of course, like I said, Jamaica for collections. So Daniel Gillian, who was the founder of TP, he only would go out and acquire high-performing, financially sound BPOs, and then they would take that talent and they would build it into the existing process and strategy. So his vision was to come down, look at Alliance One, use this as almost like a launching pad to enter into the collection space. So, I mean, I've been in Alliance One since '95. I know I probably don't look that old. Maybe I do. 95. I've been with Alliance One since 1995. We opened up our operation in '98 in Jamaica. I moved to Jamaica in 2004. And by 2006, Danielle, one of his last steps of his acquisition was to visit the site. So I was able to give him a tour. He was super impressed that we had a number of major bank card logos that we supported, but he was even more impressed with the confidence and the Jamaican skill sets. He considered Jamaica to be one of the best opportunities for the center of excellence for collections within TP. So that's the direction we went. Scalability was another reason. He saw our deep planted roots in the community. We have a reputation about just in-depth training for anyone that's either first job hunting or any other type of career opportunities. Leadership development is really huge. So the community is well aware of that. I know this because our competitors, the hospitality industry and also the retail industry, they want our former teammates. They just want our former people. So I don't know if I want to go too deep into this, but I can keep talking a little bit about what we do about it.
No, please go ahead. No, this is good
All right.
information. Thank you.
So we know that our existing clients, we farm, right? Our existing clients, they grow. We have a strategy of having pre-hired candidates on a bench. We average between 100 to 300 pre-hired candidates. So if any one of our clients is expecting to grow, we have that bench strength to quickly ramp at the speed they want us to. But for new clients, when we're out hunting for new clients, we do not use external hires. We have a very strong process for hiring through an application for agents, leadership, and support that are currently with the team. They have to meet all these different expectations. That gives us the best proven results in starting a client green, and we can scale very easily. And
it also speaks to retention, right, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, this is also proven too because the KSATs, we just got our KSATs. We scored all 10s. We did have one client with a 9, but they're satisfied. And our team members that are tenured, they see that career path for growth. So just a couple different just a couple different opportunities I wanted to share with you.
Thank you so much. No, that's powerful. Wayne, I'm just going to jump right onto that because I think you have a bit that you could add to this discussion around just what it looks like when an operator comes into the space. They understand the culture, they understand the people, and they do make that investment. That it really speaks to a stronger ROI if you look at it as a long-term investment. Based on your industry experience, what advice would you offer North American companies seeking to leverage technology partnerships in Jamaica to support their business growth?
Yeah, no. So let me just make a quick distinction. So for example, Teleperformance is what I would call a pure play BPO company. They're in the business of providing BPO services. National Credit Adjusters, which by the way, this month is our 10th year anniversary here in Jamaica. We are essentially a
Excellent.
branch of a, thank you. We're essentially a branch of a collections company who is headquartered in Hutchinson, Kansas. So we are like, I don't know, a Toronto Dominion Bank with headquarters wherever they are, but has a branch in Ottawa, a branch in Toronto, a branch in Montreal, and so on, right? So we are essentially just, as I said, a branch of our operation. One of the things that Conrad mentioned about what's great about doing business in Jamaica is the ease of doing business in Jamaica. So NCA decided to come to Jamaica for operational efficiencies, right? JAMPRO is what I would call an end-to-end hand-holding facility that made it very easy for us to come in and set up and do business here, right? So work permits for our overseas-based employees, setting up relationships with local vendors, just the whole business of setting up your business, the statutory requirements and all that. It was just a breeze. And I know that's something that a lot of companies looking at doing business overseas might say, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How, do I know? Who do I know? I don't know anybody and so on. JAMPRO really handles that very easily for us. But what really made it critically simple for us, NCA specifically, the GSAJ operates 2 incubators, one in Montego Bay, which is a 220-seat facility, and one in Kingston, newly opened. Well, it's Portmore, but it serves the Kingston market, which is an 84-seat facility. That allowed NCA to come into Jamaica and set up shop with a limited amount of capital investment, virtually no capital investment at all. Total turnkey operation, seats, computers, IT infrastructure, everything. So that allowed us to come in and test the waters, right, without having to come up with that big upfront capital investment. And we were in the incubator for 6 years before we finally moved out into our own space, which is now a 10,000 square foot facility. So the ease of doing business, i.e. the sort of bureaucratic piece, is eliminated with the kind of partnerships that JAMPRO provides. The Jamaica Special Economic Zone provides in terms of ease of setting up, which enables you to have significant tax advantages. But also, if you just want to sort of test the waters, you have both a Montego Bay operation or a Montego Bay location or a Kingston location, which you can come in, test the waters. We know you're going to be successful. We know you're going to want to stay. And that, I would say, are the key advantages to doing business in Jamaica, right? And I haven't even started to touch on the sun, surf and sun, the food, the culture, and everything else.
I was saying
Yeah, I mean, Jake's been here for what, 30 years, right? He came and
there's
just
a reason.
so there are just so many different reasons, but again, the ease of doing business and the proof of concept, right? Again, TP has been here now for almost 30 years, right? You don't stay in a location that long if the talent doesn't reinforce the value proposition, if the culture doesn't reinforce the value proposition, if the infrastructure, technology, and everything doesn't reinforce that value proposition. Conrad mentioned the government's digitization. I can't tell the last time I've been into a government facility to do anything. Pay all our taxes online. Everything is done online right here from the comfort of my desk. So it's really easy to do business in Jamaica. And again, with the incubator piece, you can do so, test the waters with a limited amount of capital outlay to start.
Thank you, Wayne. And also, you mentioned the incubator and how critical it was to you, getting on the ground, establishing and scaling. Can you speak a little bit more of how that works and if there are other opportunities like that?
Right. So again, the incubator in Montego Bay, it's four separate suites, each having 50 seats, as well as managerial rooms, coaching rooms, and so on. So it's really a full service facility, right? I mean, all you have to bring is the software application and interaction or interface between your applications and the IT infrastructure, very robust IT infrastructure. So you don't have to worry about, again, outlaying that initial capital for desks, chairs, computers, and that kind of thing. And the same thing is in Kingston. Um, it's operated through the GSAJ. So you negotiate with us for a seat count. You don't have to take all 220 seats. So depending on how you'd like to scale, 10 seats, 15 seats, 20 seats, 50 seats, you come in, negotiate a lease structure with the GSAJ, and you come in and set up and do business. I mean, it's really that simple, really that turnkey. I don't,
Exactly.
I don't know
Hey,
if
And
really quick, I can just quickly say,
please go
Wayne,
ahead, Wayne.
that you're spot on with new investors, but I've also used it so many times because I couldn't grow fast enough. So I'd use it as a bridge gap. I bridge that gap, rent it out for about 4 months while I expanded, then I'd pull them up. So it's a great tool. It's a really
Excellent. Conrad, you wanted to say something?
I was just agreeing with both Jake and Wayne that that incubator does provide prospective investors with an opportunity to test the waters, basically with no costs associated except for the lease arrangement. So you have no capital expenditure that you have to consider when you are looking to set up in Jamaica. This is an opportunity that is there both in Kingston and Montego Bay. So you do have the option of deciding where you want to start your operations from.
If I can just bring Peter in the discussion, from your perspective, Peter, there are incentives and we do have, conversations around that and offerings for it too. But how are some of these other things in terms of offsetting cost and, allowing for that quick implementation of project? How important is that for companies that are looking at outsourcing parts of their operation?
It's a very good question. Listen, I think that any forward-looking or value-driven destination is going to be considering incentives alongside a lot of other factors that they need to promote. And this is where I think Jamaica's done an exceptionally good job. The government has made it very straightforward to come into the country for a new prospect or for a new outsourcing organization. But cost is just one part of that whole discussion, Margaret. The
Yeah.
longer term question is what value can be driven. And that's where I think Jamaica comes to the table with a fantastic opportunity. The incentives alongside the talent that we've discussed and the fact that they're constantly updating the education system and the education curriculum to make sure that the needs of what BPOs and their clients today is going to be reflected in terms of what individuals are learning. Also, the fact that property, and I think this speaks to something that Wayne had touched on a little bit earlier, the fact that Jamaica, after the absolutely tragic occurrence of last year, was able to come back online so quickly. So many providers are able to be able to come online. That's because of the investments that have been made in the technology, when it comes to network, when it comes to the transport infrastructure within the country, and the facilities themselves. All these things count for so much, and it comes down to the fact too that we've seen this consistent level of growth year on year in Jamaica's outsourcing sector, both in terms of headcount, but also in terms of the number of clients that are coming in. There's no one size fits all or magic formula when it comes to luring new investors, but the reality is Jamaica's found a good cadence, and it's done in a manner that I think this is important to say too, that individuals don't come for the sake of recouping some cheap costs or some tax breaks over the course of 3 to 5 years and then leave. As Jake was mentioning, when an outsourcer comes to Jamaica, they're going to stay and they're going to expand because the value is there.
Thank you for that. And I just want to stop for a bit and acknowledge that some persons may have issues accessing the chat. So if you do want to ask a question and you're not able to access, please go ahead and raise your hand, and our team will ensure that you're able to speak. Thank you. And we got some good responses to the poll as well. So thank you for that, guys. Thank you for your interest in this industry. One of the questions I'll raise before I just go to the our Q&A moment is, Conrad, if you could speak to how JAMPRO navigates with clients who are interested in doing business in Jamaica, particularly in the GDS sector.
Thank you very much, Margaret, for that opportunity to really just share with our prospective investors that we are the facilitators, the government facilitators as far as investment in the BPO space is concerned. And that's very, very important. One of our panelists alluded to that earlier, that sometimes looking on, you may say, I've never been to Jamaica. I don't know what the business landscape in Jamaica looks like. And it can be intimidating when you're going to a new geo to set up your business. Yes, JAMPRO is that agency that the government of Jamaica has assigned to you personally to hold your hand from the day you start thinking about doing business with Jamaica to the day your business is established in Jamaica. And the beauty about it is that we don't leave you even when you have established your business in Jamaica. We continue to provide support to you and your organization whilst you are in Jamaica. So we take you from the beginning, where we can discuss with you your business idea, your business that you want to do in Jamaica. And in our case, BPO, we help you with the company registration, help you to find a location to set up your business. We will help you to find employees for your business. Yes, we will help you to get the approvals that you need to operate your business. We connect you with the Jamaica Special Economic Zones through which you get the incentives to operate your business. And so we are really your partner in establishing and running a successful business in Jamaica.
And Conrad, where would you say most of the GDS is located? Because Wayne mentioned Kingston and Montego Bay. I know, Jake, you have a
Yes.
preference for Montego Bay, but how would you say it's
I'll just tell you real quick that whilst we were in Ottawa at CX Outsourcers, that formed one of the questions that we asked to the participants before we gave away that lovely gift that we gave to them. And we asked, where is the home of Jamaica's BPO sector? Of course, some people were saying Kingston, some people were saying Montego Bay, and of course, Montego Bay is the home of Jamaica's BPO sector. And we were happy to be able to share that knowledge with people, because Montego Bay provide an opportunity for people to come to Jamaica to see what is possible. And then we allow people to expand their operation throughout the rest of the country into Kingston, Mandeville, and other parts of Jamaica that are now becoming BPO centers. So Montego Bay is the home. Kingston is really there as an alternate site, but there are also other satellites around Jamaica that people are free to establish their businesses.
Thank you for that. Was somebody, Drake, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Or was it Wayne? Okay, Wayne.
Wayne.
Yes.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to, because I don't want to have this slip. This connection between the industry and the government and the importance of it cannot be overstated, right? Conrad, for example, sits on the board of the Global Services Association of Jamaica and always has. We have the ministry, the minister's number on speed dial, and they're very responsive.
Yes.
So and that's really, really important, because as things happen, this industry is fast changing, right? Developments are happening in this industry, and the responsiveness of the government, and the responsiveness of JAMPRO, the responsiveness of the Special Economic Zone is very important to continue to drive the development of the industry.
Yeah.
So that kind of partnership, the importance of it and the significance of it and responsiveness of the working relationship is just something I wanted to emphasize as well.
No, and
Can
I
can
thank you
can
for
I?
that,
Oh,
Wayne. And I
sorry.
think, I'm sorry, Peter. Go ahead. I'll yield to you.
Thanks, Conrad. Listen, Wayne, I think that's an exceptionally important thing that you bring up here. One of the things that impresses me about Jamaica is the fact that the government understands its role in promoting the outsourcing industry. And it's not just a case of doing promotion around the world at different conferences and holding different events. It's also understanding that the outsourcing sector and the clients have specific needs and listening to the members of the association, listening to individual operators, and crafting legislation, crafting regulation around that. I can tell you there are far too many destinations around the world where the government thinks it's the boss and that it will tell the outsourcing sector what it needs to do and how it needs to play the game. Jamaica is not one of those locations. And again, I put this down to one of the reasons that the country has been able to just cultivate such success when it comes to attracting investment and keeping it. It's because it's not even a political factor. It doesn't matter. This is a non-political issue. This is non-partisan. All the parties understand the important role that outsourcing plays in terms of driving new jobs and driving new opportunities, as well as expanding the tax base. And it's a credit and a tribute to Jamaica that the maturity of around this discussion is not political and it's very much done in the public interest.
Absolutely. And to that point, I really thank Peter for that kind of endorsement because that is really the case. It is really very deliberate on the part of the government to ensure that they listen to the investors and the clients by extension, and we adjust as we go along to make sure that we retain that business in Jamaica. And you're right. This is a non-partisan issue. It doesn't matter if the government changes tomorrow morning. Yes, you get the same level of support as you did before under whichever government, whichever parties form the government in Jamaica.
Margaret, I think you're muted if you're speaking.
Yes, thank you. One of the questions that I received in the chat is around AI and if that is something that can be incorporated in our service offerings in the BPO sector or the digital services industry. Wayne, I see you nodding your head. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, man. So, whenever persons ask me about AI in our sector, I always answer the same way. Um, our sector has been incorporating the use of AI for a long time, right? Before AI even became fashionable, right? And that is because we are driven by efficiency of service delivery. So as a sector, we are always looking for ways to improve our efficiency. So AI is not something that is intimidating to us. And the companies in our sector, and Jay can speak to it a little bit more. I'll speak to it in my shop as well. But AI is something that we've always been using to again improve the efficiency of our service delivery. And our companies individually are very aggressively incorporating AI into their operations in order to do that. For our shop, that's something I specifically am spearheading in terms of incorporating the use of AI with respect to a particular division in our company that deals with traditional snail mail responses. It's called our consumer response team. We get a lot of mail in and we have to process that. And there was just an old-fashioned way of doing it. And we're now using AI, incorporating AI to make that process a lot more efficient. So the short answer to the question is yes, we are and always have used AI and incorporated AI into our operations and continue to do so and stay on the cutting edge of that process because that's our blood, that's our lifeblood, right? We have to continue to improve our efficiencies for the service delivered to our clients.
And again, Margaret, if I might just add here as well, that a part of the responsiveness of the government of Jamaica as well, we recognize that AI is here to stay. And what the government has done in its nimble approach to training and development is to incorporate AI as a part of the curriculum of our national training institution. So AI and the use of the technology is ingrained in our education system. So our young people coming out of these training institutions are quite familiar with the different models, et cetera, and how that can help to make businesses work much more efficiently.
And Margaret, I just want to make a point here, just following on from what Wayne and Conrad had to say. Jamaica, I think, has taken a very forward-looking approach to artificial intelligence because at the end of the day, Wayne summed it up really well. This is a technology that's been around for some time. Unfortunately, it's been a victim of a hype cycle that just continues and unfortunately will not seem to end. And I think a lot of buyers are turning off when they hear AI coming up in pitches and coming up in rhetoric. You know, the reality is Conrad's point around how it's being incorporated into training and instructing people about how to use these technologies, how to do their jobs better using these technologies. It reminds me a lot of the mid to late 1990s when we were talking about what we could do with the internet, when the web started becoming more mainstream. Well, this is where we're at now with artificial intelligence. The technology is an enabler, it's an accelerator, it's an enhancer, but it's not going to be a replacement. And the replacement that we're talking about is in terms of all these people who say that all these jobs are going to be lost. Well, a country like Jamaica is not going to see significant job loss or job displacement because of AI. And that's again coming down to the quality. The type of work going on from an outsourcing standpoint in Jamaica is not transactional. It's value add, it's analytical, it's problem solving. And that's where agents can be super powered with the right technologies that are enhanced by artificial intelligence. And when you put that combination of talent and the right technologies together, I mean, it's really an unbeatable one.
Thank you. I don't know, Jake, I see you're off mute. Did you want to add to that?
All really good points. I mean, I live it, I breathe it every day. We have a client that was just on site this week, and we launched months and months ago a tool that is listening for certain cues from the customer, looking for certain words from the customer, looking for whatever else, quickly coming up with the solution, giving it right to the agent so we save time, get the resolution faster, make the customer happier, and it's also saving on cost. So
Yeah.
cost is a really big thing. It improves performance. We've been using AI. We have what we call a daily stand-up with all the senior leadership. They have to go through their clients very quickly. We have a number of KPIs that we just have them breeze through. We feed the data into the AI tool every single morning, and it will help build an action plan that the leader can read off and tell where the targets are at to whether improve the GM, reduce absenteeism, whatever else. It will tell you exactly what to do. So it's very, very powerful that way. And I just I'm not seeing it losing jobs. I'm seeing it as an enhancement, like exactly what Peter was saying. What I think is the hype part of it all. Too many CEOs out there just see a shiny object, they dump a bunch of money into it, and then it doesn't do anything. And it's only as good as the prompts. Like a lot of prompts, AI is kind of like Facebook and you know, Instagram. It's like almost like thumbs up and hearts and all that stuff. Someone that puts into the prompt to AI, the AI will just tell them how great they are. It's like you have to be
So true.
you have to like be brutal with the AI and say, hey, be brutally honest with me, answer this question this way if you want to get really good answers. So AI is
Yeah.
just a tricky thing right now. I don't just little that's just my 2 cents on this. But
I like that, but I guess it boils down to your talent pool, your training, and how you incorporate that to complement what you're already offering to your clients. So Jake, your operation, you would be, if there is a small company, because there's a question in the chat, and I think it would be from someone who has a legal firm, and they want to know how they could be outsourcing their operation. So, Wayne made the distinction between being a captive operator, or you want to be you want to connect with a vendor as a partner for your own operation that you're trying to outsource. How does that work with Teleperformance and other providers who can, give these sorts of services to
gotcha.
interested companies
Sure.
abroad?
So okay. So the person that's asking the question is a firm like looking to maybe
Yeah.
have us hire them as for support?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, we put out RFPs for things like that. I mean, we'll announce when we have those needs, and you can go ahead and bid for that. Uh, but nothing, nothing right now. But when we have those needs, when you're a global company this size, we don't necessarily need. We're pretty stable on what we have, what we need. But
Right.
So,
Which would be the customer experience part of the GDS offering. What about the KPO, and maybe Wayne could touch on that, or Conrad? What about the other sorts of outsourcing processes that we may have, whether Jake or other operators that are already there in Jamaica could provide to companies who are smaller and not looking for.
okay.
But then I will come after Wayne and then just say something around that as well.
All right. So, yeah. So I don't know if the question from the person was in the reverse, i.e., they have a firm and would like to outsource some legal services to Jamaica to have Jamaica.
oh, that's what. Okay.
Yeah.
If so, I just want to say, the Norman Manley Law School in Jamaica has been the champion of the international debating thing that has happened in South Africa a couple of years in a row. So just a plug there for Jamaica's legal prowess,
Yeah.
the kind of raw material we're putting out on the legal front. So certainly the talent is here to be able to do that. And again, working with JAMPRO and the GSAJ, we can find and source that kind of talent for you and set you up in the way that you would like to. I do also want to make mention of KPMG GES, which is basically KPMG's outsourcing facility. And they have, I think, Conrad, keep me honest there, a couple of hundred well-trained accountants that provide very highly sophisticated back office accounting services for KPMG, which, as we know, is one of the major, if not the major, accounting firm in the world. And other highly specialized services as well happen here. Healthcare, HGS has been here. So Jamaica, as I said earlier, is a proven entity, and not just in what you might want to call traditional contact center services, but across the entire spectrum and also moving up the value chain. We have smaller companies here that perform sophisticated coding and IT services as well. May not be the 6,000 heads that Jake has, but certainly, smaller companies that provide boutique, high value IT services as well. So, put that legal person in touch with Conrad, and Conrad can link me and we will set them up appropriately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Wayne. In fact, you actually covered all the points I was going to make. That the truth is that we are more than a BPO destination. So we're talking about the fact that we are also knowledge process outsourcing. So all of these higher level type services can be had right here in Jamaica. We're talking about the legal process outsourcing, F&A. We're talking about all of these types of services that, we have the university graduates that are available to make up that labor pool to support your law firm right here from Jamaica.
And we both, us and Canada, are sort of, if I'm not mistaken, coming from the same sort of English common law background, if you will, in terms of legal structure, if you will.
Yes.
So there's a lot of familiarity there as well.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Well, I think we have come to the end of the webinar. Before I go, though,
I'm
I just
sorry, Margaret. I think I'm seeing
yes.
a hand raised.
You're muted again, Margaret.
Oh, I'm not seeing it on my part. Can you go ahead, please?
The participant with the hand raised, you can go ahead and ask your question. That's a Chevon Chin. Siobhan
Yes.
Chin, are you hearing
So
us?
we responded to her question
Okay. All right,
in
great.
one of the earlier section. She said she can't unmute, so she may want to add something else to one of her previous question. Can we unmute Siobhan, please? Okay.
You're muted again,
Yeah.
Margaret.
I'll respond to Siobhan after the webinar. She's unable to speak at the moment. But yes, I do want to thank everyone who made the time out. I particularly wanted to thank Peter, thank Jake, Wayne, my colleague Conrad for coming on here and just explaining us what has been happening in Jamaica. I think we take for granted that, we are the number one tourist destination, but there is so much happening. And on the heels of one of the most catastrophic hurricane that we have seen, Jamaica has certainly been resilient. We have rebounded, and the industry, as Wayne alluded to, definitely weathered the storm pretty well. And we are looking for, just exponential growth going forward. I want to thank Peter as well, and just for underscoring the value of the alignment and the governance and compliance that Jamaica has been really investing in, and what has been one of the reasons why we're doing so great in this sector. Jake, thank you so much for your continued support and growth in the country, in the industry, for how well you have been doing. And Teleperformance is one of those proud moments for JAMPRO, right, Conrad? They've definitely been a tremendous partner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we thank you. We thank you for just how much you've invested in the talent. It speaks volumes to your commitment to the location. And for those here on the chat and the webinar, the participants, the attendees, thank you so much for coming on, and we will follow up with you after this. We have Christina, who is here as well. She is in our New York office and will be attending the New York Tech Week. So look out for her, and say hi, and engage, and we're ready to speak more with you on how we can help you scale your operation. I'm here in Toronto, and also will continue those conversations with you as well. Thank you so much again for coming on, and we look forward to this continued dialogue on how we can help you grow your operations in Jamaica. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and bye, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.